Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I know this isn't my normal type of content, but I decided to play Red Dead Redemption 2 to see what happened. In this video, I decided to go through all of Harriet's legendary animal ones. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to stick around, like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy the video. The first animal I decided to go after was the ruddy moose. After walking through the forest for a little bit, and eventually finding some clues, I was then led to a group of poachers, which I swiftly killed. The poachers had taken the moose hostage, so I released it from its cage, and I decided not to sedate this one, thinking it would be way too hard because of the size. I followed it through the water, and I followed it through the woods a little bit. Then I eventually shot it and killed it, and retrieved the skin. Shortly after, the game decided to throw me off of a mountain, which obviously killed me. And eventually I made my way to Gus, and then I soon realized that the skin had fallen off of my horse.
Now I gotta go back to Harriet. Oh my god!
Arriving at Harriet once more, the next animal on my agenda was the banded gator. After crossing a bridge, and looking through the swamp for a little bit, found some signs. Shortly after finding the signs, I was attacked by a small group of alligators, which I had to swiftly take care of. Not too long after, I was attacked by the banded gator, which I calmly sedated and took my sample for Harriet, checking off another animal from my list. I decided to go after the Anaheim elk nest. This animal, however, was in a snowy area instead of a grassy area like the other ones. I began my search through the snow. After finding a group of poachers and eventually killing all of them, I began my walk again. Not too long into this walk, I almost passed out from the cold and stamina. But right before I blacked out, I found the elk. After firing a few shots into the elk, it decided to run away. I followed it through the woods, somewhat through the water, and eventually, in the end, I sedated the elk, quickly taking my sample for later. After making a quick pit stop at the general store and buying some animals, I was on the move for my next animal, but not before falling off of another mountain. The next animal on my list was an Hiawatha panther. Going after this panther is also when I decided to try out first person for a bit. After finding a small pool of blood, and deciding to just randomly shoot a turkey, I was eventually led to some animal corpses. Deciding to spare a poacher, I then ran off. But I ran off into a bigger group of poachers, which I easily took care of. The poachers had been there for some reason, and that reason was that the panther was also there. After firing a few shots into the panther, it wasn't very happy and decided to attack me. Which I was obviously afraid of, but then I eventually sedated it and also took my sample later. Next animal I was going to go after was the milk coyote. After traveling for a little bit through some paths in the woods, I was eventually led to a group of poachers, which I also had to take care of. I decided to go after the coyote again, but not before getting absolutely shot in the face. I found the cage, I opened the cage, and my chase to sedate the animal had begun. I missed a few shots, I hit a few shots. The chase went on for a good while, but eventually, after missing like 500 bullets, I sedated the coyote and was able to retrieve my samples quickly after. My next animal was the golden spirit bear, which I was not very excited about. I had previously taken this on before because I was wearing it and wasn't excited. After finding a dead body and a dead horse, I ended up running into a pack of vicious wolves and tried to attack me. I wasted no time shooting all of them directly. Not long after, I continued the trail for the bear and eventually found out where it was at. I perched on the mountain waiting for the bear to attack me, and eventually it did run up on the mountain. I did not get to shoot it, instead it mauled me. But it didn't just maul me one time, as it mauled me a second time. After shooting a quick poacher in the head, I then wanted to continue looking for the bear again. But would you believe it? It mauled me for a third time. I did eventually manage to sedate the bear and take my sample, but not before a very vicious battle with it. I arrived at Harriet's once again, but this time not to such a friendly smile.
Was the creature just as promised? You've got some nerve. You think that I wouldn't find out? You're no better than that savage villain.
I decided to quickly go after a poacher hideout, which didn't take long for me to arrive at. After eventually taking down some poachers from the ground, shooting some while they can't see me, and attempting to kill one with my revolver from a giant tower, I eventually defeated all the poachers and went to open a cage with a wild wolf in it and set the wolf free. The poacher hunt was over pretty fast. I eventually decided to make my way back to Harriet again. She then led me to a desert area to go after the rutile horn ram, which was somewhere in a mountain range. After finding and killing the poachers that was holding the ram hostage, but not before getting into a fight with them. I then opened the cage and proceeded to shoot it in the face 85 times. Plainly because I just wanted to kill it. Not too long after, I just randomly got in a fist fight with the dude for no apparent reason. After a quick stop at Gus, selling my ram hide, I decided to go after the crossbox. Which, after getting off of my horse and running into the woods to search for some clues, I found a dead rabbit and a dead chicken, and then I decided to search the area for more clues. And I searched, and I searched, and I searched. And would you believe it or not, I searched a little bit more. Before eventually just completely giving up and going after something else. Which that next animal would be the Ikahi boar, which I found relatively quickly after finding some feces. After defeating the few poachers that were holding a hostage, which was not that hard, I eventually opened the cage and let the boar free. I then sedated the boar and took my sample to Harriet. After having a great fall of my horse over a table, I then decided to go after the cross fox just one more time. Which I had to walk and walk, clue after clue, poacher after poacher. I was led to a poacher walking with his dog, which I had to quietly follow. Which I then eventually did end up finding the crossfox, but it had gotten too far and the mission was not successful. My next stop was the legendary shadow bug. Which, after taking care of a few poachers, and looking for a few hints, I eventually found two poachers following a scent or something. Continuing on the way they were going, I eventually found the bucket of water and fired some shots. I eventually sedated it and I took its aim. Next animal on my agenda was the night beaver. After following a poacher trail for a very, very long time, as well as getting lost once or twice, I eventually found out where the poachers were hiding and quickly took care of them. Not long after, I found where the beaver was running off to and sedated the beaver. I then also took my sample of that.
Easily sedated.
I decided to go off for one more poacher hunt for Harriet,
Oh, yeah.
and
Think I'm afraid
in the
of-
meantime,
Uh-oh,
killed a
I am.
massive amount of poachers,
Oh no, this is bad. This is not as well as I. This is not.
while also deciding to fist fight one, which didn't seem like it was in my favor, so I just decided to cheat and stab him. I then made my way all the way back to Harriet, and decided to go after the crossfox just one more time. This was the last animal I needed. I was set out to find the poacher hideout. Eventually finding it, after finding it, I took quick care of the poachers that were inside. In the hideout, I was given a document, which after reading the document told me to go to the docks by the water. After searching the docks for a while, I eventually found part of the docks that had some poachers in it. The poachers were keeping the fox hostage. After taking quick care of the poachers, I eventually set the fox free, sedated it, and after 3 tries, finally took my sample. In the end, I successfully hunted 11 animals. There may be more, but I don't know yet. If you guys would like to see more Red Dead Redemption 2, comment down below, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a sub and like.